Invest in the greater good to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And our idiom for today is to invest in the greater good. What the heck does this mean? Where does it come from? And how might we use it to grow and build and supersize, of course, our business? Because we don't want to just have a little business that barely pays the bills or feels like a job. We want a business that changes the world and makes the world a better place. So this idiom is relatively old. It's from the 17th and 1800s. A philosopher and utilitarian philosopher by the name of Jeremy Bentham, I believe, or Bentham, and was attributed with first using and coming up with this idea, as well as John Stuart Mill, who lived about, overlapped a little, but about 25, 50 years later. So they both came about the same time, late 1700s, early 1800s to mid 1800s. And basically the idea is that when you're deciding what to invest in, what to do, decisions to make, and choices among alternatives, you should concern yourself with what has the most positive impact on others, not just on yourself. Now, I don't know about you, but it depends on what stage of my life I'm in, that whether I've paid attention to that or not. If I was in survival mode, which I don't know about you, but there have been times in my life when I have been in survival mode. Not my favorite times, but definitely the times that I got the most resourceful, learned the most, and made the most progress. But to invest in the greater good means, as we're making choices, because we all get to choose all the time, whether we think we have choices or not. We usually have a lot more choices than we give ourselves credit for, or that we even realize we have. But there's a couple of things that I do now, and I think I've pretty much always done them, but for sure I consciously do now. That's thinking about my investments. I have a process for deciding, number one, decision making, and number two, deciding what I am and am not going to invest in. And when it comes to investing in myself, I almost always say yes. If it feels right, if it's the right time, the right opportunity, the right thing, I say yes. Even if I don't know how I'm going to afford it, I figure out how, and I say yes, and then I figure out how, which has served me really well, because it puts that natural pressure on ourselves to actually focus on solutions and figure out a way to make something happen. So even if it's an investment in an opportunity that feels too big or way out there, I, because I usually get other people to join forces with me, always figure out a way to make that happen. So I always say nowadays, invest in yourself and invest in your people. Invest in yourself and invest in your people. My experience over 5 plus almost 6 decades now has proven to me time and time again that the best return on investment is always the things that I've invested in myself, my own education, my knowledge, my creativity, my whatever it is that I wanted to develop at the time, and the people in my organizations. And a lot of times those people left my organizations, right? When you invest in people and help them grow, usually they outgrow you and your organization. And I love when that happens. I know most people get all mad and worry about competition, but I'm like, go, because usually they become partners in projects. They don't become competition. If you've invested in yourself and invested in them, there's nothing to be afraid of. So love to know, do you have a process for deciding what you're going to invest in? And do you consider whether it's for the greater good or if it's just for the benefit of you and your business or a close-knit group of people? Some people don't invest in the greater good at all. They are mostly concerned with what's in it for them. Other people, other businesses, invest too much in the greater good and go along with the current trends and flows, and then find themselves in business trouble because they didn't make sure that what they were doing and what they were saying match with their core value, their brand, their identity, etc. We see that every day, all the time. 100-year-old established businesses that go out of business because they made the wrong choice, they aligned with the wrong ideas, etc. So I say, think wisely, have a process for making sure, and part of my process is making sure that the investment that I'm looking at matches with my, number one, my core values, my organization or the organization that I'm investing for's core values and beliefs and mission and purpose and principles, etc. If it's not going to move us ahead and make progress toward what it is that we're trying to achieve, then we don't do it. That's just makes decision making really, really easy when you know who you are and what you want and who you serve. All right, that's it. Have an awesome day. Share your thoughts and beliefs about this particular idiom, invest in the greater good. I know there have been times in my life when I didn't think about the greater good. I was just thinking about how we're going to make it to payroll this week. All right, have a great day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye.